Hey, this is Lisa Russick with the podcast We're All Psychic. And who is that below me? Who is that below me? Is that Donna? Is that our new co-host, Donna?
This is Donna Murphy. Hi.
Before I forgot to let you say your name. You can go ahead. Say it again.
This is Donna Murphy. Hi, everybody.
Hi. And if you're still watching on YouTube or Spotify, Bertena is here. Bertena, would you like to say hello?
Hi, everybody.
Bertena, I have a question for you, but Donna's going to ask it. Donna, would you like to ask the question?
Bertena, I just want to know, do you think we're all psychic?
Okay. So, I'm going to put a disclaimer out there. I am not the biggest fan of the word psychic, but I do feel like that every single person has an intuitive gift that will help guide them, whether they're working with their soul or they're working with their solar plexus, whether it is something, spirit guides talking to them. Yeah, we all do. But society has just had us think we're crazy or things, this isn't real or that isn't real. And they have us doubting ourselves so much that most people think that they're powerless, that they don't have that ability to be.
But who are they listening to?
Connected.
Like, who are they listening to? The media or their people or everything?
Doctors, religion, other people in their family. It's just like I was born in Eastern Kentucky, and there's no witchcraft, but that's bad.
Too.
Supposedly, but we grew up. My grandmother, my mom, we had dreams. That's a mom's intuition, especially when your children are involved. There's intuition, just feelings, things that you sense, energy around you. And it was all turned into folklore or old wives' tales. But if you notice anymore, this is coming back. We're getting tired of being told that we can't trust ourselves. We can't trust what we know. We can't trust our traditions. And I even had a lot of that when I was growing up, because when I moved from Eastern Kentucky, I was made fun of because of my accent. And I swore that whenever I finished, you would not be able to tell where I was from. My accent's still bad, but nothing compared to how it was, at that time. And went to college, got educated, hated my life. And it's funny because whenever I got into the
Supertramp song.
Well, I got into the metaphysical world, and I realized that all these things that my grandmother taught me and my mom taught me and that I grew up around was intuitive. So yeah, I feel like we all are, even men. The divine masculine is very powerful too. It just comes into a protector type mode usually, where the divine feminine comes into a healing and walking with mode. And so you have to have that protector to hold space for us. And so I feel like that we're also out of kilter because a lot of people do not have that protector either to feel safe in their space. So that intuition.
Yeah, that's very true. I've always felt that way. I've never had a protective presence around me. It feels like, because, in general, with my parents, I did feel safe as a kid. But like when I was older, I didn't, like when I lived alone or lived with dudes. Not that they were unsafe, but if they weren't home, I wasn't going to feel safe, and if they were home, then I probably would feel more safe. That's kind of right. Yeah. But do you think they just exude that kind of like presence, or that's what they're taught to do? Or is that what they naturally, their intuition tells them to do, protect? Do you think the masculine energy?
I feel like it depends. Like my husband, he's 6'4", big Tennessee boy. Very quiet. I don't think you've probably even heard him say a word, but also know I'm protected. He respects what I do. He hauls my stuff in. He does all of this. And I think that men, when they're very comfortable in themselves, just like us, they have it as well. I mean, you also have to think, I teach college. I'm a criminologist. So I even have a whole different aspect of
she does everything, listeners and watchers. She does everything. We have a lot in common. We go through everything, except she does bigger things than I do. Don't you also work with the police as a psychic reader? Don't you? As a psychic, don't you also do that? Or?
No.
Okay, I wouldn't want to do that. I know some people do who've been on the podcast, but I didn't know if you did.
No, I actually worked in law enforcement, like as a private security, did detective investigation work. I teach criminology now, history and sociology.
And what else do you teach? Reiki? You teach
Religion.
Reiki.
I teach Reiki. I teach intuitive classes. I teach yoga. I teach meditation, everything. If there's something that I like, I'm going to teach it because I feel like I want to pass that knowledge on. So I'm a big old nerd. So yeah.
Yes, I'm a big old nerd too. I still got to go to her classes even if I already know it and I learn something. I learn a lot. I was like, I thought I knew it.
It's just trusting yourself. It goes back to what you just asked me. You trust yourself, and there is no right or wrong answer. Like whenever I teach tarot cards, I'm like, throw the book away.
It's a good tip for trusting ourselves. Our listeners need, and I need that too, because I've been having some doubts since I stopped smoking nicotine, vaping nicotine, and stopped. Oh, there goes my train of thought. After the nicotine I stopped, and then I started the LDN. My memory is kind of like, oh, my brain's all use a soup, But I'd say I can't remember at all what I was going to ask you though. What was I going to ask her, Donna?
We were talking about memorizing books.
And using
cards.
the book or relying too much on the book when you're first learning tarot. I'm just going to say that I don't think there's anything wrong with tarot study.
Yeah.
I do think that there's a place for it in the scheme of things, but very often, because we don't have confidence when we get our first deck, the idea is, okay, I'm going to get the book, I'm going to memorize the book, and that's what the cards mean, period.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of kind of clinging on to this idea that there's only truly one objective meaning, and that's it. And once you memorize that somehow you can read tarot. And without trusting yourself and developing a relationship with your cards and understanding how cards relate to each other and where they show up in a spread and all that stuff, you've really locked yourself in a really tiny little box. And then you have to unlearn that and let yourself, and let yourself kind
Somebody
of
else has done some teaching, I hear. Sounds like a teacher. You sound like a teacher, Donna. You've done teaching too? Have you done?
Some, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's a lot of what comes back to the intuition and psychic. It's not I only know it and I'm going to give it to you and you're a blessed one. There's so much gatekeeping.
I know there was.
There is. And
there still is.
Yeah, there still is.
I was at not as much, but it's still there.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it was interesting. I did ask a guest who was on the podcast who knows everything like you do, Bertena. I asked her about the Kabbalah. She's like, we don't know about that. Women don't know about that. But let me tell you this. She's like, it's only a little bit, Jewish mysticism type stuff is very fascinating to me. And I always wanted to learn about it because of Madonna, you know what I'm talking about? That album Ray of Light, when she came, like she came out with that album. It was one of my favorite albums. And she was always like one of my biggest influences in music. And in my life, I just admire Madonna. Like, all hail Madonna. She's like one of the best. And I'm not into pop music at all, but I just love her music. And I think she's just great. But that's when I was first I've been introduced to chakras and stuff by my 7th grade friend Joni, and all the terms, like we used to try to out of body experience and stuff. Bertena, she was on the podcast and we talked about all that stuff in Joni's podcast. I think she just said maybe to the question, or I don't know. But then I named the podcast Maybe. I was like, I remember I made that mistake. I'm like, oops. She said, I don't know. And I named it Maybe. But we talked about that. And but when she came out with that album, I'd already been starting to think I might be psychic. I might be having a spirit guide. Or I didn't know this was a spirit guide. I just thought Sam was someone I had to go find. I thought he was a real person that was out there somewhere because I couldn't understand him clearly. It took a long time to build that clarity to speak with my spirit guide, as clear as he is now. And I had to figure out he was a spirit guide. So I knew that was that. Once I knew that or understood or felt like that was the truth about him, then I felt like I could understand him better,
Mm-hmm.
How about you with spirit guides? Was it easy for you to talk to the spirits all the time? Or was it kind of like something you had to work on? Because that was easier for me than tarot, the spirits. It's hard. It was a hard initiation.
I don't know. Most of my stuff has just been natural. And I know that sounds weird, but even though I'm a sociologist, I didn't put labels on things. You would think I would more. when I was younger, I always saw spirits. I went through the ghost hunting thing, the paranormal investigations. I talked with spirits and I'm like, okay, this is cool, and I've always approached them as like speaking to you.
Yeah, me
Well,
too.
when I started crossing into the metaphysical field, my religion weighed on me pretty heavily. So I started out with angels. So of course I did all the courses with Doreen Virtue. I was during that time, And so, because angels, at least I could validate, they're not bad.
Right, true.
But then it was just like, it just always was. I'm like, well, these could be angels, these could be this could be ancestors. And I was like, I always heard ancestral guidance and things like that. So I don't tend to be very organized in my stuff. Donna mentioned spreads. I don't use spreads. I just throw
I don't
cards
always. Sometimes
down.
I do, and sometimes I don't. I'll throw them too. Like you see me do it, Donna. I'm just like, and I've seen you, Bertena.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of ends up developing their own style. I think if they practice enough, they'll develop.
I've developed my own spreads. I mean, you don't read tarot for 50 years and not deviate.
Exactly.
From the norm. I mean, from, okay, we're going to do a Celtic cross. We're going to do this. We're going to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're valid for what they are, but again, it doesn't have to be in the box.
Yeah. One thing that always bothered me is they're like, you have to read that card and nothing else. I'm like, put another card on that one. Put another card on that one. I was like, why is that a rule? It was a rule in tarot when I was learning it. When I taught myself tarot, it's like that card is the meaning and it means everything. You have to just use that one card for the past.
Well, I went to Salem to do a presentation for a university that I worked at. It was a Harry Potter presentation workshop. And I was up there in Salem, and a few of the women, I've went, I don't know, 6 or 7 times since this. But the lady was like, oh, you have a gift. I was like, oh, here we go, And we spoke and we talked, and she was like, don't even look at the cards, listen, and then see what pops up. And so I just did that a couple of times. I was like, oh, well, that was easy. And so ever since then, when I'm not nervous about a client, because, of course, we all get nervous at different times and that imposter syndrome comes out. But if I'm in my flow, I don't even see the cards half the time. I hear, or I just see symbols popping out because like going back to the history, I absolutely love symbols. So symbols mean a lot to me. So I learned that. And then I went to New Orleans and a lady was like, she's a priestess a voodoo priestess in New Orleans. She was here in Bowling Green and in Nashville. And
who was that, Elle?
Yes.
Okay,
her name
I know her.
is Liz. Yeah. Yep. I love her. Lonesome Liz is her name.
I think I talked about her on the podcast and she was going to be on it, but we never coordinated it. So
please do. I love her. You remind me of her a lot.
We had fun when we met. We had a good time.
Yeah. I did a few events for her. She's a little wilder for me, but I love her.
I love her. I loved it.
She was like,
I talked about her reading where she blew in my face and then she choked up. I had to go outside and get air.
Yeah.
I don't know why that happened. She didn't say it was bad, but I didn't know why that happened.
Yeah, she's interesting. And all the voodoo that she does is really interesting and stuff.
Yeah.
But she was up here and she advertised, how I met her, she advertised tea leaf reading. And I was like, that sounds cool. It doesn't sound scary, because at this time I'm still in the angel stuff trying to break my way through. And I did, and I write about this in my History and Art of Tea Leaf Reading book. I went to her and I was like, oh, that's what Grandma used to do. I already know how to do this. So it was just, I've always, just to go back to spirit guides and everything, and I've always just kind of done things. It was just never labeled that because of where I lived and how we believed and stuff. So
yeah.
You have a black kitty too, Donna, don't you?
She's actually a tabby.
Tabby?
But the only part of her that's showing right now is like the darkest part of her, along like the back of her head and down her back. So she's
I'll have 2 in here in a minute as soon as they open the door shut.
I've had 4 black cats in my life. Black cats and calico cats have always been kind of my weakness. But right now,
I always have
right now I've got an orange and white. He's kind of a creamsicle and big fluffy guy. And then I have her,
I've seen that tail.
So.
The tail. Yeah. Morgana tail. He has a Morgana tail, and he showed it off for the podcast one time. He hid himself in the stairwell at Bertena, and all he did was stick his Morgana tail out.
And then just let his tail come out and like sort of wave at people.
For a long time. It looked just like her. This one on the shirt. If you're watching,
and then we have our little,
that's the tail.
And then we have my little tabby here. So
baby. What's your name? I know your name, but I forgot it. What's Tabby's name?
That's Tomiko.
Tomiko, okay. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Bertena, don't you have like 5,000 animals? I don't know. Didn't you have animals? I thought you had like chickens, and I don't know why I thought you had chickens, but I thought you did.
No, I have cows next door.
That's Clarissa. No, Clarissa has chickens. Oh,
okay. Yeah. No, I have 2 cats, and that's enough.
Oh yeah.
But I grew up on a farm when I was in middle school and high school after we moved to Lexington. So. But yeah, I'm not an outdoors person at all.
Yeah, she listeners and watchers, is water, is it liquid or that makes you tell them your weird allergies. Tell them about this stuff.
I have a mixture of hidradenitis suppurativa mixed with some form of fibromyalgia type thing, and I can't go out in the sun.
It's a sun, that's right.
Yeah, that's okay though. I can't do water either.
That's okay. Either. That's why. Okay,
I almost killed myself, but I'm a water priestess, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. With the disease, I can't be in temperatures above 65 degrees, and I can't be out in the sun because I will get boils on my body. And then if the boils go so long, I've had them this big, that thick, and then they can go septic, and I have to have like blood transfusions, and then I have cancer right now. I'm going through chemo stuff right now.
I didn't know that.
It's okay. It's just skin cancer. And, it's okay.
I'm so sorry you have cancer. That really sucks. I didn't know that. I really didn't know you were going through chemo, man. I
don't tell any. It's chemo at the house. I put it on my own self. It's the weirdest thing I've ever heard of.
Oh, wow.
It makes me sick and nauseous and tired, just like the other stuff, but you put it on your own self. And it starts. This is so
like real stuff. Don't tell them. I'm really curious. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's actual chemo cream, and it goes in, and you can feel it burning, and it actually hurts my brain. Like I can have headaches so bad. And then one day I was at work, and my nose just bled for like 2 hours straight on this side.
Good. Oh, sure.
Sorry. See,
I'm feeling so bad for you. No. I'm curious about health anyway, and it's kind of a gory. Yeah. It's not a gory thing. It's just like, I mean. Yeah. I'm so sorry. Yeah, that sucks. Did you like, is the cancer related to the sensitivities? That's what I was wondering. Or is it just something that happens?
I don't think so. I don't know. The HS is supposed to be genetic, but nobody in my family has it. No one in my family has diabetes like I do. Everybody in my family, except for my grandmother and aunt before they passed, was really super skinny and blonde. I'm starting to wonder, But everyone had cancer. They've all had breast cancer, skin cancer, and almost everybody on my dad's side has passed, and over half of my mom's family's passed. So there's just me and my son, my brother, his son and wife, and they've had cancer. And my nephew is the one who has EDS and everything else.
Right.
And my mom's had cancer twice or 3 times. So yeah, we tend to. I swear, and everybody doesn't believe it, where we grew up in Eastern Kentucky in the coal mines. It had to be. I left when I was 13, but still, I played in those coal mines. I played with those goblins running around. Have you seen the documentary Hellier?
No, what's that?
You need to. It is about the goblins that are in Kentucky, and they go up to Hellier, which is in Pike County, and that's about 20 minutes from where I was born. And Hellier is where Daddy had some of his coal mines, and there's actual goblins that they talk about. Yeah.
You see what they look like, or they move?
They're about 3.5 foot tall, and they have long little ears. And Daddy would always make fun of me and going, "Well, she's playing with her friends again," because I would be running the coal mines.
Chill bumps. I got chill bumps all over me. Yeah. You probably saw a chupacabra down there too. You did. Yeah. I knew it. You saw all the things.
Chupacabras are more near down south, but it's like that. And I've just always I never took things as weird. It was just always natural. So like anything I ever saw, like I went to Morehead State University. Morehead has one of the most Bigfoot sightings that they are. And we used to go, and then Charles Manson he was in juvenile school there, and there was like this sacred place of his that was actually on campus. And Manson gets pulled into the Hellier stuff because he's from Kentucky. He was born in Cincinnati from Kentucky. And it turns into like the Hellier documentary turns into the weirdest, like, it just goes into so many different things.
Where is it? Is it on Netflix or like on? Okay.
Yeah, Netflix, Prime. Yeah. There's season 1 and season 2, and I think they're doing a season 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
you know something, you remind me of the listeners and watchers. If you're a long time listener and watcher, you remember Akasha Prime, we call her. And Bertena, I've told Bertena, and she reminds me of Akasha, and I told Akasha Bertena reminds me of her. And but listeners, if you remember Akasha, do you not see that the Bertena Akasha similarity kind of thing? There's something similar there. There's something in the energy between like you guys have all these sicknesses too. She's had every sickness in the world. Extreme horrible things. She cures herself every time though. And like, and when you say you were mailed something, you had to put it on, that reminded me of her, making something to fix something with, and I just can't wait till you guys meet. I know you will, because she'll be back up here, right? Akasha, she listens, but I always ask her to be on podcasts, but she's like, nah, not today. She's busy all the time. She's hustling.
I can talk all the time.
I can too. I mean, I feel like we're just sitting here shooting, those things. I get. So Bertena, where can listeners find you? And like, do you have a website or?
Yeah.
Okay, let's tell us.
My website is bertena.org, BERTENA.org. There's no I in there. That's a whole nother story. My name, it is my godmother's name, and it is her parents father was from Morocco and her mother was from North Africa. And it means African witch. And my mother didn't know that when she named it. And then my last name, Varney, this is my maiden name, Varney the Vampire. And I did my master's in vampire studies. And I went on tour with like a lot of the vampire people for a while. And I've written lots of like nonfiction books. I've met, Spike from Buffy, absolutely love him. He has my book and a Mr. Pointy that Sam made for him on his bookshelf. A lot of the True Blood crew. I love
True Blood, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, The Walking Dead. Back then, I was on tour with a lot of
I watched The Walking Dead.
I was the vampire professor. That's what they call me. Because my books are like that. But I've always just liked the unusual stuff, and being in the field of work that I was in, that was good then.
Yeah.
And if you look me up on Amazon, you're going to see both sets of books, Metaphysical and Angels, and then that. But I've moved away from a lot of that, not because of anything bad. It's just that I lived so long in that. I'm ready to take in the feminine, because I was always so masculine in my jobs.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I mean, I've had almost every bone in my body broken. I've been
You sound like Akasha. You sound like Akasha. She's had every bone in her body broken. She doesn't have some bones. You probably like that too. You're missing some, aren't you?
No, I've just been in lots of fights and concussions and accidents and active shooter situations and stuff like that. Yeah, because I taught public school for a while. I've got scars from like
blocking a knife.
Yeah, knives and guns and stuff. So
you can take it.
Yeah. So I'm tired. I'm ready to do.
Yes, you need a break. You need a break from thugs and thievery and and anything unlike. You're a healer, but I mean that's kind of where you're drawn. The weird. And the weird can sometimes be dangerous, When I first met you, Bertena, she says to me, listeners and watchers, she says, well, if we have the light, we have to have the dark. So something like that you said, and I remembered it. And I liked it because you smiled when you said it. And I said, I do agree. And, it makes sense to me. And Donna, do you have any questions for Bertena in particular that you thought up based on anything we talked about, or do you have any that you're just curious about?
Something that you mentioned early on kind of struck me, and you were talking about the divine masculine, the divine feminine. I know there's a lot of talk about it. If I can put forth an opinion, I don't doubt that there's toxic masculinity. I don't doubt, frankly, that there's toxic femininity. Everything has a dark side.
Yeah.
Every energy has a dark side. I think, though, it's unfortunate that we're at a place where I think that so much of the, if you want to say, imbalance about people either not acknowledging, honoring, recognizing, or even maybe thinking about the divine masculine is there's way too much focus. And again, I'm not excusing anybody's bad behavior. That's not what I'm talking about. People behave badly. A lot of people behave badly. But the idea that all of that needs to be eliminated or minimized or changed in some way, some essential way, just doesn't make any sense to me. This is not about gender roles. It's not about sex. It's not about a lot of things that I think it's become sort of a trash heap.
Yeah.
To dump a lot of, garbage on. And it's an energy, and it's a divine energy. That's why the word divine is in there. Yeah. So the sooner that we can look at both of those things for what they are and ascend into or manifest into what they're meant to be as energies, I think we'll all fare much better. So do you find that you work with more male clients? Are you finding more men who are seeking?
I am actually. I'm shocked by that at Cosmic Connections and on the phone lines. I'm having more men call and they're wanting a reading. How about you guys? I'm sorry. I just jumped out with that.
I know I had a long preamble there, but that's what I wanted to hear from. From
Bertena
was what's been her experience.
Yeah.
I tend to work with women who are like me, who had so much in their masculine before that being feminine was considered weak, and working to embrace both. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I have been the domestic violence counselor and the drug, the sex abuse counselor and all of that. And we can get so much into all of that, like you said, Donna, but I agree. We both, all of us have divine masculine and divine feminine in us. It's recognizing the logic and the intuitive. When do we need to use that? Yeah. And we have to have the divine masculine. Toxic femininity and toxic masculinity is real. Throw that away. We don't need that. We need the things together. So in my Kundalini, I'm going through Kundalini yoga teacher training right now. And it is the Shiva and the Shakti energy, which is the male and the female. And if you look at the Caduceus, if you look at the Caduceus, the medical staff with the two snakes, that's where that comes from. It's divine masculine, divine feminine. Now, there are more men coming to Cosmic. I have had clients who
younger men.
They are older men.
I've had younger men. I've had like 25-year-olds come in a lot and stuff. No, they aren't hitting on me. They really are genuinely wanting readings, and they cry. I mean, they're emotional during the reading and stuff. Yeah, and it shocks me that like 25-year-old people's like my stepsons both loved the readings when I would give them to them. They were 25 and 23 the last time I saw them, I think. But they loved them, and I could see them going to a reader. Terry, my older one, I could totally see him go to a reader. I don't know if Spencer would, but I could see Terry doing it. And yes, all through his life, I think he will always have someone reading his cards if he's not doing them himself, because he does know how to do them. He learned. So at like 17, and that's weird for a guy in Alabama, right?
Yeah. And my clients are mostly older men. They will start off with business readings to test how I interact. They'll come in and talk about, what do I see about different business questions, and then they'll come back if they trust and they feel comfortable to be vulnerable about relationships or emotions or feelings. And I have men who I do divine feminine healing in them to allow them to open up and feel their feminine side, but still feel masculine. I have men who who have grown up. See, and I think that they relate to me a little bit because they'll read my biography about the criminology and the more masculine stuff. And if you come into my room, it's all pink.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh. And I'm like, come on.
Come on. Some tea.
Yeah.
He reads tea leaves.
Yeah. And then I do rose tea leaf reading, like rose petals. And the Reiki bed is all pink and fluffy with little hearts, stuffed animals, stuffed things. And I'm just like, it's okay. We're going to be comfortable here. And I find most of them just need someone to talk to let them know that what they're feeling is valid, what they are thinking is good, and to sometimes bounce off, how do I say this to someone, my loved one? How do I say?
That's very typical of what I had. Like, what are my words? What are my words?
Yeah.
And they have the feelings, but like you said, they don't have the words. And I am very much like them. I am very masculine in how I forever would not feel any feelings. I blocked my feelings off. And it was a lot because of the careers I had. And being able to speak and be nurturing, that was never me. So I noticed how I needed help. So I found my way of doing that. And I find that the men and women that I work with tend to be neurodivergent if they're females, and they're not very well at, and as I am not now, to be able to communicate sometimes or to speak words or to show their emotions. Or they're men who don't feel safe and they feel safe. So yeah, we can't bash human beings when it comes to that. Now, I'm not going to like you if you're racist, homophobic, or whatever, but that has nothing to do, you know what I mean? That is one individual person's action. Right. That is not a group of people. And that comes back to groups of people. I have a huge Hispanic clientele in Bowling Green. I have a huge female population in Lexington. I have, and it's like, you look at the soul. This is just a meat suit. And you look at the person's soul, and gender is just a social construct. I'm going to get into sociology lectures now.
I like that.
Gender and race and religion
I agree with you 100%. And what I'm seeing, the more people I work with, both men and women, I still work with predominantly women. Yeah. But what I'm seeing is part of the issue about wanting to not accept or not look at and recognize, and all the other words that we used, the masculine, because of all the negativity that's been kind of piled on top of that, is what you have then is you have a nurturer with no protector, and internal. Internal. This isn't even about what's out there. If they have a partner, whatever, that part doesn't matter. It's internally, it's the idea of having a nurturer and a protector embodied in your own energy. And that's true. That's something both men and women, physical men and women need. Yeah.
And the nurturing side's what I work on more with me. Because I was born more in one way.
I'm really nurturing, but I don't like to tell about. I don't like to display my emotions. When I was younger, I'm trying to work on that, displaying them, letting myself have them. Because if I swallow them all up and stuff them down, I'm going to hurt somebody, probably myself probably.
Well, and that's why I love teaching somatic yoga, because how many times did we grow up and I'll give you something to cry about? Yeah, shut up, be quiet. That's not and our emotions just.
You just stop everything.
And it goes into our hips. And when I teach somatic yoga, we are just moving. I have clients in wheelchairs, I have clients in chairs, I have clients all ages, and they just move, or they envision moving their hips. And just even the envisioning releases that trauma, and it just starts falling off. And I mean, I have one male who has PTSD, and he does the class through video. He likes to do it on his own, and it really helps. It really does. It helps release that trauma. We all have trauma. We just deal with it in different ways, and that's why it's really important just to try to remember that everybody is human, and we just need to help each other. I mean, that's it. And see beyond the meat suit.
Yeah. I have a hard time asking for help because I don't usually get it. Anyway, at the last minute, that's my little listeners always give me help though, because they always subscribe and listen. I like that, listeners. Oh, I forgot to thank Everclear. They're pretty awesome too. Everclear is our sponsor. Everclear.com is the website, and Everclear Advice app is in the the Apple Store and in the Google Play Store. And let's see, we're gonna wrap this up. I asked you a question based on these. I have for advice for the listeners and watchers. Maybe there's listeners who are two in one question, both masculine and curious. Masculine energy, heavily, it can be whatever gender. And for the people who are kind of lost, not knowing what they are for sure, and they kind of want to label, say to tell them that's not okay, and they don't have to have a name yet or to label. You don't like to label things, you said, and that really stands out to me, as you say that a few times to me in conversations we've had. And you started the podcast that way too, into the answer to the Weird Al Psychic. Don't like the term psychic, and that's lately everyone's saying that at the beginning of the podcast. Have you noticed that, Donna? It's like a trend right now. Everyone's like, I don't like that word. I can't. I got to change the name of the podcast now. It's so controversial just because of the word. I got to keep it. No, but advice to the people who are lost and the people, the masculines who are curious and want to enter in and find their feminine side. Some advice for those people. Where'd it start?
Vulnerability is strength. It's not weakness. And that is something I have to go through every day. Unprogram myself from things that society's programmed me in. Labels are okay. I'll label myself in joking fashion. When I was younger, I used labels and I thought I couldn't step outside the labels. And labels are not confining. And labels sometimes become crutches, and sometimes they become a way of people to attack you.
Yeah, you're right.
And so what you have to do, and I tell everyone, is you were talking about spirit guides. I love spirit guides, but I love doing soul readings where you actually sit and you envision yourself walking into your temple, and your temple is here. And I like to bring out a flower and see your soul coming out and your soul walking with you. And you just sit and ask yourself your truth. Hearing your voice, letting go of things that labels and stereotypes and things like that are not true. Labels can be powerful. I love the term priestess. I love that, but I don't like the term psychic because of the credibility from the 80s. I grew up with Cleo and all that. But but at the same time, we all can see, if we can see a little bit forward into what we are doing and take control of our path. And all that comes down to is whether you beginning to trust yourself. What is this?
Is that the right one? Oh, no, that's not the right one, is it? No, wait a minute. I have got Miss Cleo's deck around here somewhere.
Oh.
I do. I was going to bust it out for you. You would love it.
Oh, gosh.
I do. I have it. I don't have it with me, I guess. I'll cut that part out.
But
I'm just going to look for it. Show it to you.
For some advice is find someone that you can talk to that will really help you see who you are. That is a protector as well. They're not, but they're just holding space for you. Find someone I know I can call Lisa and go, okay, I had this thing happen last night. I know I'm not going crazy, but can you help me? And I am probably one of the biggest debunkers at first. I try to debunk anything using science and then go back through. And so sometimes I will doubt myself. And it's just, if you're trying to work, going back to that with your masculine, trying to find your masculine or your feminine side, just find someone you feel safe with and speak to and talk to, and somebody who wants to empower you and sees you for who you are. Readings and healing and all that is wonderful. That's how, that's our career, our path. But really, just reach out to friends who you really can trust. People. Now, I get a lot of times, like me, I can't tell my mother what I do. She would never speak to me. But this is the thing. She sees me for me, how she
Mhm.
wants to see me. And that's okay. I don't have to have validation from her for what I do.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
love who I am and I
Yeah.
accept who I am. And I'm a lot better person than what I was 20, 30 years ago when I was working in all the other things because I had so much negativity and anger hitting me that I was
Yeah.
just deflecting that back.
Mhm.
And I felt like I had to be strong and protect myself and protect everyone. And I was always a warrior. In my past life, I was always a warrior. But
Mhm.
I always ended up being a priestess or a leader or a healer.
Yeah.
And it's funny that I can see that in this life, and I never would have thought that I would have all pink around me and things like that
Kitties, teddy
and be
bears.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And to be very, I was always nurturing as a teacher, but I was that teacher, push hard, 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 hard. And now I'm like,
Mhm.
life happens. I've got a grade, finals are due tonight. I got a grade finals tomorrow. Life is hard for these kids. Life is hard for us. And I feel like compassion is what helps both of us. There's no magical cure. There's nothing. It's just loving yourself. The more you can love yourself, the more you love other people,
Mhm.
and just be okay. We have both in us. I have to
Mhm.
I have to look and act logically sometimes, and I hate it anymore because I'm like, I just want to feel. I just want to feel and move forward and trust my intuition. And there's that struggle sometimes, and because it goes back and forth, but you have to have both. Like Donna says, you have to have both. You
Yeah.
have to have the light and the dark. You have to have the masculine and feminine. That is yin and yang. That is balance.
Mhm.
And we can dislike people and actions and believe, like bad
Mhm.
actions and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean that each group is like that. So,
Mhm.
Kind of
yeah.
the advice is, kind of look at things a different way. Kind of trying to look at it like maybe be compassionate instead of judging first. Stuff like that. Take a different approach is kind of what your advice sounds like to me. Take
Yeah,
a
because
different
I was
approach in life.
always the one that judged, and I had to put
Yeah.
you in, especially when I worked in different law enforcement. I had to put you
Mhm.
in a category, and I had to figure out. And now I'm just like, no.
Right. Right. That's right.
And it's hard, but it's easy too, just to accept people and love them and realize everyone's not the
It's
same.
easier to do that than to hold grudges and get angry, but sometimes you
Yeah.
have to hold them accountable. Just
Well,
kidding.
Accountability is
Accountability
different,
is
though.
something, though,
Yeah, but holding people accountable for their behavior is different
Yeah.
than judging someone as the whole
No
part,
reason.
judging
Yeah.
them in their
Yeah.
totality or in their entirety,
Yeah.
not being able to see anything else but what that judgment says. This is what this person is.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not going to
Yeah.
help them or you. But if you
Or
can
you,
get, if
yeah,
you can, if I
exactly.
can get angry at somebody or explain to them why they hurt my feelings, without them getting defensive, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People,
Well,
people we have cross lines, boundaries. That's something we talked
Mhm.
about on the podcast about boundaries is always coming up,
Mhm.
more so a few years ago, but building
but the
boundaries
thing,
really helps with just everything. If people respect everybody else's boundaries, nobody's going to be fighting. But people love to fight for some reason. I guess I don't know. Even women love to fight. I just know so many people who just love to argue, and it's really funny to get two of them together. They just love to debate and they just talk about nothing constantly. Like I had two friends at my house one time, and they were arguing about space, like something about aliens in space. And we turned the radio up as loud as we possibly could, a stereo, like one really big stereo in the house, and turned it up all the way up. And they just kept getting louder and louder over the music. And then I think like my ex played like Don Henley or something, and then they stopped. They're like, "What are you doing?" But, it was just like, why do they like that? Why to where they shut down the whole party? I mean, it's where like everybody is like, "What is going on, dude?" And then they were fine with each other. They were really kind of proud of each other, and that they caused such a scene.
it's ego. It's ego and being fearful of looking at someone else's perspective
Yeah.
because it might change yours. This is what I tell
Yeah.
when I teach religion at the university. Your faith is your faith.
Mhm.
You cannot prove nor disprove faith,
Mhm.
but respect other people's ideas. we don't know if there's aliens or not. I like to think so. We don't know if there's angels. We don't know anything. You just
what they were arguing about in particular was if they assumed there were aliens. Okay, that was the assumption, was there were aliens. One of them wanted to nuke them all, and one of them wanted to welcome them. So that's what the argument was. Well, it was like it was a really big argument. Oh my gosh, they went crazy. They went nuts.
Yeah, but that also is symbolism of other things. Not
it's true. It is symbolism of what they're really arguing about. The five of wands, the sham of life. Yes. Yeah. All right, thank you so much, Donna and Bertena. So thank you so much for coming to the show. You're the first Cosmic Connections person to come on. And Donna, thank you so much for asking the question for the first time. I think that was the first time you have asked it. And thank you for being my co-host. Yeah.
Well, and that's one of the things that I have to talk about too, is showing, the idea of we're not hating.
No.
Yeah. I couldn't do it without my husband. Catherine at Cosmic, her husband supports her, helps her. When you find someone who really will walk with you, support you, and, just really give you confidence, or like when I have imposter syndrome, he goes, cut it out. You know better. That's just it. You know better. You're doing fine. Just it's okay. And, that really makes a difference. And it doesn't have to be a husband. It could be a best friend. It can be someone else that will pull you up and help support you. It's just like, but it really makes it a lot simpler when you have friends in a relationship like that. Because I never understood the relationships where, I wish my husband would go and leave and go fishing, and I can't wait till he leaves. I can't wait to have a weekend by myself. And I'm like, he's my best friend. And I have a best friend, and we're all friends. And I just never understood the pushing away of all of that. So I just feel like we have to have all of it. So I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah.
And I've been in those DV relationships, and I've been in toxic relationships, and that was that person. That wasn't the whole gender. So,
Yeah.
So, but thank you for having me. I'll be glad to come on anytime.
We'll get you on. Well, you want to be a regular, Bertena? Do you want to be a regular?
Yeah.
All right, she's a regular, guys. Woo! And season 10 is coming. It's coming for you. Chugging along. We're chugging along. Choo, choo, choo.
Yeah.
You love the listeners and watchers. You love the listeners and watchers, Bertena.
Yeah.
Love them.
I do.
All your heart.
I love you. See, and that's something I can never say before, was I love you to anybody besides my child. I love you. And it feels so freeing. It's weird the first time.
I had an old friend named Lisa who would go around saying in high school, I love you to everybody. And she said, I just don't want anyone to, if I leave someone, I want the last thing they heard me say as I love you. So she got me doing it. And then the next thing I know, it's so easy to say I love you to anybody. Yeah. So, even that guy who said it to me, and I didn't mean to say it back, but it's like, I don't want to hurt his feelings.
Yeah, love you.
And I know he's using me, so I'm going to do it. High school boyfriend.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, listeners, we love you. So Donna loves you. Donna, we got the heart up there.
Hi, Miss Donna. Nice to meet you.
Everybody. We love you.
It was a pleasure to meet you, Bertena. I'm looking forward to the next time we can get together and talk. Thank you.
Just message me is all. Bye.
Bye, listeners. Bye, watchers.